Yo, what's up, guys? Hey, today's a very monumental day at DCTV, and honestly, all of it is owed to you, the fans, all the support you guys have given us, the growth that the channel has had over the course of the last 3 years. You guys have made everything possible, and today, like I said, is a massive day because we have a presenting sponsor, and it's Total Wireless. Guys, Total Wireless has come on board as the presenting sponsor of everything we do here at DCTV, and they're going to have my back. So I thank Total Wireless for coming and be a part of the team DCTV, man. It's a big deal. It's a big deal to have a company like Total Wireless associated with us. I appreciate them, and I appreciate you guys for making this possible. So today's episode is brought to you by Total Wireless, the official wireless provider of the UFC. They're in your corner with unlimited 5G data that will not slow you down. Guys, you know what else is not slowing down? The Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev talk. Look, there has been, since Ilia vacated his championship, Islam doesn't want to fight him. Islam said he's not fighting him. Topuria saying he has a title fight. Topuria saying he was promised a title fight. There has been so much that has come with a fight that hasn't been signed, that hasn't been announced, that if announced would be tremendous, but it hasn't. There's so much to this fight, and now you finally get someone, right, from Team Islam speak publicly about it, and that's the great Khabib Nurmagomedov. Guys, Khabib is about as straight a shooter as you're ever going to find. I'm telling you, when he's mad at me, he tells me. When he's mad at someone else, he tells you. He doesn't hide. Khabib doesn't not speak truthfully to you, right? So when you hear him say things publicly, take it as fact. This isn't him posturing. This isn't these guys trying to raise the price on a fight or anything. This is a true emotion, a true feeling, because honestly, that's how these guys operate, right? So when I see Khabib interview and they start to talk the Islam fight, my ears perk up because I know that we're going to learn something that matters. It's not just third word or coming from another person, hearsay. It's the truth. So Khabib was speaking the other day, and he had these things to say, and we'll break down his thoughts. He goes, hey, I don't know what kind of agreements Ilia and the UFC had, but from Islam's side, he already gave two 145-pound champions title fights. Both of them, Islam won. Now a third time? Okay, let's imagine that Ilia moves up and gets a title shot right away. Islam beats him. Then Ilia fights again. He loses again. So basically, he was a nobody at 155. Islam beat a nobody at 155 because of that time. But because of that, in terms of legacy for Islam, for his resume, I understand Islam's risk. So when these things started to get said, I was trying to explain to people that Islam had fought the champ Volkanovski at 145. The first fight was competitive. The second fight on short notice, Islam was able to finish him. I believe that in those interactions, the response was why he's more opposed to, if that's the case, it sounds more now like it's not worth it. I believe the response to those fights is why they feel it's not worth it. Because in those fights, you had a guy in Volk who's the number one pound-for-pound fighter in the world, unquestioned. He beat him, and he did not get the respect or the love that might have been anticipated, right? Super fights mean that the person that comes on the other side of the super fight feels a lift after winning said super fight. I did it. I felt it after beating Stipe Miocic. Islam Makhachev, he had the fight, won the super fight, didn't feel the love because it was like, well, you beat a smaller guy. Maybe that's the case, though, whenever you're the bigger guy and you actually win. Maybe the love comes when you're the smaller guy and you win the fight. But Khabib's talking about the risk versus the reward, essentially. And the reward or the juice wasn't worth the squeeze, at least in the first case. Now, is Ilia Topuria better than Volk? That's a question that I want you guys to actually help me with inside of those comments. I know it's easy to point to, well, he beat him, so he's better. That's not the case always, right? Volk had come off of 2 losses. He had been knocked out by Islam, and only a few months prior to the fight that he fought Ilia. And I'm not making excuses. Ilia might knock him out every time. I don't know. But that's why I'm asking you guys to engage with me and tell me who's better. Who's a better matchup? Who do you believe would be more of a challenge to Makhachev? Because Volk fought him relatively close the first time. The second time, it wasn't. There were a lot of circumstances. Volk and Ilia wasn't that competitive. So I need to know from you guys a little bit in the comments, like, what's tougher? What makes you want to see the Topuria fight based on what he's done versus Makhachev? How do you guys think they match up? But again, I don't know that I agree that Ilia doesn't have a career at 155. I think he's far too good to be at 155 and not find success. I think he's too good. I'm going to be honest. I think he's going to be fine wherever he is. I watch his style, and I don't anticipate that everybody's just going to kind of wash him out. Especially after seeing Paddy Pimblett, who I'll get to a little bit later in the video, and what he has done at 155 recently. So I get the hesitation because I know that at the end of the day, the juice has not been worth the squeeze for Islam. And he's beaten all these guys and beaten them dominantly. But to this guy, Makhachev, legacy matters. Legacy matters. And Khabib went into that, right? He goes, Islam will fight anybody. Islam himself said, I'll fight anybody. But he doesn't have much time left. Think about it. If you think about it, Khabib said, Islam will be 34 soon. So Islam doesn't want to fight Topuria or Volkanovski or someone stepping in on short notice like Renato Moicano. He wants to fight the big names who really deserve it. Guys who have been at 155 for a long time. We have nothing personal against Ilia. But if you're moving up a weight class, earn it. That's more or less our stance. That's Khabib. Hey, that there is as telling as anything you'll hear from anyone, because that is Team Islam saying it's not really happening. This is not what's happening. So for the first time, we know now that Team Makhachev is going, I don't feel he's earned it. I don't feel he's earned it. So I don't think he gets the fight. Khabib also said in that article, Islam's the champion. He should have a say in what's going on. Right? So it'll feel like a bit of a standstill. But I got to agree. Right? What does it hurt if he fights one guy? Say Ilia fights a Charles Oliveira. Oliveira was tentatively the next guy after beating Michael Chandler. It was supposed to go Arman, Charles. Arman didn't fight the fight. Charles has won 1 fight since losing to Arman. Why can't those 2 guys fight and then fight Islam, the winner? That makes sense. That makes sense. Now, Ilia Topuria to me is so good that if there is circumstances that allow for someone to do that, I would think it's him. I know he only had 1 title defense, but he is very good. But, you know, I'm not calling what the truth. He's very good. He's a very good fighter. Topuria for his part, said he's going to be the one that beats Makhachev, and Khabib knows it. The kid is as confident as anyone. My son told me yesterday, Dad, I was like, what? Because he loves Islam, and he loves Khabib, and he loves all those guys. He goes, Dad, I was like, what? He goes, Ilia changed his profile to the UFC lightweight champion. He's like, he did that against Volk. He was like, what do you think that means? I go, I don't know, Pop. Maybe they're going to fight. That was before I read the article from Khabib. I go, maybe it means they're going to fight. And I said, you know, when he did that against Volk, he did become the featherweight champion. And he's like, oh. Because to like Islam fans, they're like, man, if this guy's dangerous, we've seen this, it's very dangerous. So my son even is tapped into that. But hearing Khabib there makes me feel that it's not going to happen. So when you look forward, what we have is this. We have Makhachev as the champ. Sarukian, they said, is not getting the title fight now. Gaethje just had a really great performance over Fiziev. And I said on record, I think that should be the fight because I think that is what people are speaking of when Khabib says the big name. Because Islam does have more title fight wins than most. But think about this. When Khabib was the champ, his title defenses were against Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje. 3 names. Islam has title fight victories, but they're Volkanovski, huge name of the featherweight. Volkanovski, huge name of the featherweight. Dustin Poirier, name, right? And he probably felt the love after Renato Moicano, right? On short notice. So of his 4 fights, there are a lot of situations where he just didn't probably feel the love. And if you're trying to build a legacy, you got to feel that love. Because as important as it feels to you, the fan, your opinions matter in terms of how things are viewed when we get down the line. So for me, it's this. I think it's Gaethje. I think that makes a ton of sense to me because Gaethje is that big name. And if Justin Gaethje fights Islam Makhachev for the championship, that's it if he loses. So many guys have had their chances. Dustin Poirier fought for the belt against Khabib. Dustin Poirier fought for the belt against Charles Oliveira. Dustin Poirier fought for the belt against Islam Makhachev. Justin Gaethje fought for the belt against Charles Oliveira. Justin Gaethje fought for the belt against Khabib. Justin Gaethje might fight for the belt against Islam Makhachev. There's been a logjam at the top of 155, and it seems as though those guys just keep working their way into championship opportunities. Charles said he would fight Ilia Topuria. Would love to see that. But if Charles Oliveira gets the title fight, put Gaethje in there with Ilia Topuria. Any of these matchups are phenomenal. But the dark horse right now for me is Paddy Pimblett. Because of what he did last week in the Michael Chandler, this dude really does look like he could potentially challenge for a championship. But do you do it? But do you do it with Islam being the champion, knowing that if there is a bad matchup for Pimblett, who seems to have the ability to be a massive star, do you do it? Do you match them up and potentially burn the star? Or do you see if Makhachev actually moves up to 170 like he's been having his eyes on for so long? Me, as a promotion, Islam's a star. If he goes up, you want to have a star at 155 and not a star that's been burned a little bit through his time in the organization. Paddy Pimblett fits that bill. So I'd put Justin Poirier said, hey, I'd love to fight Paddy. He's dangerous. I'd make that happen. I'd make that. Because then if Paddy wins, he gets the rub. Paddy Pimblett's never felt more admiration than what he felt after beating on Michael Chandler in the way that he did. Imagine if he's able to do that against Dustin Poirier, especially if it's in New Orleans, like people are saying that it might be. Then you have a bona fide star. Bona fide. Ready to fight for the belt against whoever it is. Paddy also said he didn't think he'd get the fight yet on our check-in. He thought he might need one more fight, but does feel that the next fight will be a number 1 contenders fight. Yo, big things going on at 155. But the best thing and the biggest thing is getting an update from Team Islam. And the update should not feel good for people that support the idea that Ilia Topuria should fight next. I'm just being honest with you because I'm telling you, I know these dudes. I know these dudes, and I know when they talk to you, you might as well listen because they're telling you the truth. Love it or hate it, they're telling you the truth. And Khabib turned down $40 million to come back and fight. Dude ain't doing what he doesn't want to do. And I think that goes for just about everybody in that circle. So, guys, in the comments, tell me, who do you want to see him fight? Tell me how you match up 155. Because we all are looking for answers right now. Maybe you guys have it. All right? Hey, again, thank you guys for the love and support. I appreciate each and every one of you. And thanks to Total Wireless for jumping on board for Team DC. Until next time, like, subscribe. Tell your friends I got a YouTube channel. And I'm doing things like this, also DC check-ins, and so much more. Until next time, guys, peace.